I saw some people the other day. There's one guy, he prophesies every month.
In this teaching, Apostle Arome Osayi shares a vivid personal vision of a race and the white horse, connecting it to prophetic responsibility. He explains how true prophecy requires discernment, courage, and witness.
How come you are prophesying every month? I dreamt, and in the dream, I was racing with some people. It was a competition. So when we finished the race, instead of them to ask us to leave the track, they said we should all stand on the finish line. So we stood on the finish line. And then I was given the opportunity to see the person that was running by my side. It's somebody that I know. Then they now brought a horse for me and said, continue. A white horse. I saw them. So I was wondering, what is this? And I know Jesus. Jesus doesn't show me pictures because he is bored. There is a significance for such visions. So I woke up from that sleep and I was still thinking about it. And then one of my prayer partners in Nigeria sent me a message. I said, I saw you in a race. Hey, you see, something had already started in my spirit that has to do with a race. And there's somebody now that doesn't know about what was going on. Now said, I saw you in a race. You won the race. I said, oh, I won. So I now took his own. I added to my own. I now discovered, okay, this is the reason why they gave me this horse. Because I won. Oh, okay. So I began to pray on it. Then I now realized that God was talking about this season, that he has given us a race horse, that we are going to, yes, it's going to be fast. It's going to be fast. But you see, the prophecy came to come. The person didn't even know. He said, well, I don't know if this makes any sense because it doesn't make sense to me. It won't make sense to him because God is not speaking to him. It will make sense to the person that the message is directed at. So when I put it together, I said, it means there was a race. And God was looking for some people to do some work. And he has found us faithful. So he wants to, The third thing that we need to know about judging prophecy is that we must have a brilliant way of knowing which spirit is talking. Which spirit is the one talking? Come with me to the book of 1 Kings chapter 22. The king wanted to go for war. He got his prophets together and his prophets began to prophesy that he was going to win the war, was going to be victorious. The king of Judah that he brought to accompany him to battle and said, can't we look for Micaiah? We need to find Micaiah. So, let's go. Let me show you a few scriptures. 1 Kings chapter 22. 1 Kings chapter 22. In verse 6, you will see what the prophets that the king gathered said about the battle he was going to fight. Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. Next verse. And Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides? That means the guy's spirit, there was something lacking. Is this all the prophets in the kingdom, in the realm? That we might inquire of him. Next verse. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, there is yet one man, Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him. For he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. You know, people choose the kind of prophets they listen to. And I'm going to I'm going to dig into this matter deeply so that you will understand. All right. There is a name for these people that are prophesying. There's a biblical name for them. So, but I hate him, for he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say so. Now, I would like you to see, yes, next verse. Then the king of Israel called an officer and said, hasten hither Micaiah, the son of Imlah. Go on. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, sat each on his throne, having put on their robes in a void place in the entrance of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. So you can imagine how that feast was. 400 people prophesying the same thing. So yeah, they put their throne at the gate, and the prophets were prophesying. Where are we? We're in verse 11. Okay. Jump to 23. Jump to 13 first before we jump. And the messenger that was gone to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, behold now the words of the prophets. Declare good unto the king with one mouth. That is, they are counseling him on how to see, God is not a politician. 400 men can be prophesying lies, and it can be only one man that has the voice of truth. I don't want to bring my own personal experience into this matter so that you will not say I'm trying to advertise myself. But I have experiences in this matter, this one. That people came, big prophets, they came and I said, you will die if you... There's no road for you here. Who is this one? At the end of the day, behold now the words of the prophets. Declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them, and speak that which is good. So there was a counsel sent to counsel the prophet, to tell him how to order his utterances. There is a generation like that wants to determine what the prophet will say. But the prophet is not a politician. You can tell a politician how to make a speech. A prophet is a conduit. He speaks by the mouth of God. And God is not happy every time. So if he's a true conduit, be ready to receive every emotion that is on the heart of God per time. The prophet is not your friend. I saw some people the other day. There's one guy, he prophesies every month. He's fake. God doesn't speak every month. If you are a true prophet, he can be silent. Even in heaven, the Bible says there was silence in heaven. It means no entity spoke. How come you are prophesying every month? If it is, may God help us. May God help. May God help us. Are you there? For 6 months, you are in alignment. God doesn't give you any message to give anybody. I don't have time to take you through the old prophets. What's his name? Zechariah. Zechariah only received prophetic words for 4 months in his life. Only 4 months in his life. You think it's a simple thing to be a carrier of the counsel of God? The word of the Lord only came to that man for 4 months. Don't worry. We'll go to the school of prophets. I'm going to show you when we draw the graph of prophets, how long they prophesied, who were their contemporaries that we can use to judge their prophecies. Because Amos and Zechariah, they were contemporaries. So we can use Amos to judge Isaiah. When we finish the analysis, you'll be amazed. So there was no prophet that prophesied alone. The law of witness required that there will be another voice. Yes, the law of witness requires. And that's why in the Gospels, there had to be 4 Gospels speaking about one man. Because each Gospel had to bring a dimension of the man, so that through the prism of those Gospels, we can fully articulate it. Matthew saw him as a king. Mark saw him as a servant. Luke saw him as the Son of Man. John saw him as the Son of God. John is a book that speaks about his heart. Matthew is a book that speaks about his teaching. Mark is a book that speaks about his example. Luke is a book that speaks about his lifestyle. John is the book that speaks about his life. Are you there? So John is the book of life. For in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God, and all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was what? Life. Zoe is the book of life. I can show you 18 things in the book of John that you will not find in any other gospel. These 18 things are suggestive of the fact that he is a carrier of the Zoe. That's why he can do these things. There is witness in the Bible. No prophet prophesies alone in a generation. God must raise at least 2 in order to fulfill the law of witness. When I pick things in the spirit, I check. I know at least a few accurate prophets that are still alive now. When I pick something in the spirit, I like to hear their message to see if I will find what I heard. Because of the law of witness. It was those days I will hear something and begin to teach about it. Now I will wait. I'll wait until I receive witness from another transmitter. Then I will know that this is the time to begin to say these things. It's difficult to wear the prophetic mantle, because we could not differentiate when Moses was speaking for God or Moses was speaking for himself. So much so that Moses was in disobedience and the children of Israel did not know. They told him to speak to the rock. He went and struck the rock, and no water came out. There was proof, but he was in disobedience and nobody knew. So God had to judge him in order for them to know that that action was not sanctioned. The prophetic grace is a very, very sensitive preoccupation. These guys came to the prophet and began to counsel him on how to respond. It was a distinguished meeting. You don't come with this rugged prophetic dimension. You come, you need to be politically correct, align your words to suit your generation. That's compromise. No prophet operates like that. If you see a man that rises as a prophet, that people like, that some people don't hate him with passion, it's not a prophet. It's not a prophet. It's not speaking for God. Your words will judge people. And if you want to carry out prophetic ministry, first of all, tell your wife that I can die at any time. Tell her and let her know. Oh, you are not with me. Let me leave you. Let me leave you. These are things I had concluded many years ago. I saw what God was calling me to do. She is aware. She's aware. That place you say people don't go to, trust me, that's the place I am likely to be sent to. Most of you, if you stand before a king, you will lie. You take, you are not, we are not, okay, let me leave you. Most of you, if you have a prophetic word, they send you to a king, you will lie. Because you don't have the courage. There is a courage that accompanies the prophetic office. There's a courage. There's a courage. I don't know so much about America, but I know Africa well. And I know the places I've stood. Some of those places, they will never call me back. Because and I go with my transport. Because they'll cast you out. In fact, sometimes as you are going, this counselor will be by your side telling you, if only you can prophesy good, you will live with a bag of dollars. Just go and just say good. I'm advising you. That I know this man, this guy that they sent. If you are still with me, say amen. Now you can see that a prophet must be completely sold out to Jesus. Cannot be bought. His mouth cannot be bought. His soul cannot be bought. He has a different master, and he has given his mouth to that master so that he can be the mouthpiece of his master. He said, declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them. And speak that which is what? Good. Verse 14, just to give you an idea. And Micaiah said, as the Lord liveth, what the Lord said unto me, that will I speak. So a true prophet doesn't try to be politically correct, doesn't try to line up, doesn't try to, no. He just comes to deliver the counsel of God. And the counsel of God, I've come to realize by experience that men don't like it. Men don't like it. But even though such prophets will not be invited, if it's a high delegated conference meeting, those kind of prophets, the real prophets are not likely to be in the conferences. But when kings fall into trouble, they want to hear, not from the fake ones, they want to hear from the real ones. Okay. Verse 15, so he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he answered him, go and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. Even the king knew that this was not the right message. He followed the counsel. He said, go, you will prosper. Next verse there. And the king said unto him, how many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord? Are you there? Okay. Then the guy now opened up. And he said, and I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills as sheep that have not a shepherd. And the Lord says, these have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. Are you there? Okay, so let me take you, now that you understand what is going on here. This Micaiah was able to tell them his encounter when he was summoned to heaven. That's what I want to bring to your notice. There are prophesiers that can pick frequencies and prophesy. Those ones are not prophets. True prophets can be taken into the visual environment of the kingdom protocol that led to the words that they utter. Now, go to 19. Let me show you something quickly before we proceed. And he said, because when he spoke that word, there was contention. After the contention, he now went deeper to tell them what informed what he spoke. And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw sitting on his throne. I saw the Lord, sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. Next verse. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. Next verse. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. This is what happened in the visual environment of heaven. And it happens to be that Micaiah was summoned to witness this thing. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. Next verse. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth and will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. So those guys that claim to be prophets, they were just picking the frequencies that were available in the realm of the spirit. They couldn't differentiate who was speaking. You know, I told you that in number 3, we need to know what spirit is speaking. They couldn't differentiate. It means that there's this higher level in the prophetic. In prophetic safety, there's a higher level. The higher level of prophetic safety is that God brings you into the visual environment of the kingdom scenario that led to the counsel of God that you speak. So you are not just speaking because you heard it. You also saw the kingdom scenario that led to the unveiling of this counsel. That's part of prophetic safeguard. If you are just a prophesier that can pick frequencies and prophesy, sometimes you will not know if the signal is transmitted by a lying spirit.